Well, I thought I would share my background, my experience, my qualifications, my expertise that I drank. I drank for nearly 35 years. And that's a lot of what I bring to the table, is that I know what it feels like to be a mother, a wife, a working mother and wife, trying to establish a career, trying to be my best in that space, and trying to manage my children, and also being married, and relationships and friendships, and so I drank. Okay, so the other things about me is that I worked in the natural products industry for about 15 years, meaning like healthy lotions and potions and elixirs, face care, creams, just, really cool stuff. And this was back in the day when people were still making a lot of the stuff in homemade, in their kitchens. And so part of that expertise and experience is I was very fortunate to work for companies that were very mission driven, very focused on being either thought leaders, traditional, pure, fair trade, organic, sustainable, like really truly stewards of the earth, and having reverence for, humans and clean quality products. And so working for these companies, as far as I know, still have never sold. They've never sold to some of these larger corporations that, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, there's unfortunate parts about it, that are, these large manufacturers that are, well, I don't know if I should name any names, but, think about some large cleaning fluid organizations, companies. They came in and bought up a lot of these natural products, brands that are big and they're making money. And these other, I'm segueing, these other corporations outside of the natural products were like, wait a minute, they're making money over there, they are doing something right, and people are catching on to this, so let's now get involved. Kind of like the way pharma is with psilocybin and cannabis. That's another whole story I'll talk about later. Anyway, I got to learn a lot about this industry, and these two companies have not sold out. They've, maintained ownership. They've maintained, I would say, sovereignty in being able to still make decisions on, quality and R&D, in ways that they might not be able to do if they were owned by, is that going to make us money? Is that going to be cost effective? And oftentimes when you are dealing with raw materials in, plants, like I worked for an herbal supplement, and we were using fresh live plants, and these, grow in nature at their own pace, and sometimes the crop gets destroyed and it's not available. So it's a moving target, and sometimes that's not cost effective. It's really, so cutting corners where you can is really ultimately not beneficial to the consumer. Yeah. So I was very lucky in understanding, very mission driven, dedicated, devoted to the cause, to helping heal our planet. And then also working with plants, all non-psychoactive herbal medicines that, have a healing component to our bodies. Even just foods we eat that are plants, turmeric, ginger, they're so healing for our bodies. And I got to learn a lot about everything from soil to the seed to the cultivation, taking the baby plants and planting them just at the right time in the fields. And, a lot of that's still done by hand. So it's like this human interaction with a plant that is going to then ultimately be used as medicine. And then also the harvesting of it, like at the optimal right time, when it's, when the plant is at its most potent peak. I developed this deep rapport and reverence for plants. And I luckily, when I was, deep into the throes of, this working mother, trying to save and salvage a marriage, a 6-year-old and a relatively, toddler baby, and working and traveling all the time. Like, I was losing my shit, and I was drinking. Of course I was drinking. That was a long time ago. And I was like, you got to put me on something. I'm losing my mind. Like, I'm having panic attacks. I'm feeling exhausted. I was at my wit's end. And luckily, she asked me, would you be willing to try the natural route first? Before I just write you a prescription, would you be willing to, see a naturopathic doctor? And I was like, sure. Yeah, that sounds great. Because at the time I wasn't on any pharmaceutical. I think I might have been, I don't think I was taking the pill anymore. I was probably in an IUD. But so like, I wasn't attuned to really taking anything, nothing proactive and nothing reactive, which was good, but I was desperate enough to change my mindset. Nothing else seemed to be working. The drinking certainly wasn't working, and therapy wasn't working, and so I was like, all right, let's give me some pills. I need to put an end to this. That must have just been some angel intervention there, because she could have easily written me a prescription, and who knows, right? What would have happened? Like, who knows? But she introduced me, and I immediately started taking supplements, and my sleep improved almost immediately, and a lot of the anxiety, it went down several notches. And the supplements that she gave to me were they were branded and private labeled, which and so they were expensive, and we were poor. We were house cash poor with 2 little kids. So I took myself to a natural products store, and there was this awesome person who still works there, by the way. I see him every now and again, and I told him, thank you for helping save my life. He took like an hour out of his, he was there working, but he took an hour and spent with walking me around the aisles, talking with me about different adaptogens, what they're good for. I was putting together some of the right combinations, and it was working, and it was working really well. And fast forward, I don't know, maybe 6 months, I then started working for an herbal leading herbal supplement manufacturer. And then it was like a whole new world opened up to me. I then became very entrenched in learning about farming, the cultivation, the seeds, the soil. I'm just having it opened my eyes deeply to where the care and keeping that goes into plants and farming, and how hard the work is. But it took me a few years to really develop a deep appreciation for that. At first I was like, this is cool, but it took a while to sink in, and I was still a city girl, and I was like, who would live out here on a farm? And now I'm like, how do I get to a farm? How do I get to these beautiful little more rural areas where I can be one with nature? It's been a 360, no, 180, I guess. It's been a 180 on my aesthetics desires. Anyway, so I have a background in herbalism. Why I'm telling you about my herbalism experience, background, reverence, is that plants saved my life. I very quickly improved my sleep and my health, and I ended up, just really incorporating them into my life, and my immune system changed, my sleep changed, and even though I was drinking, there was some significant impact. They work. Plants work. And so I have a deep reverence for that. And I also have a very deep knowledge and experience in providing replacement options. When you do stop drinking, there's an emotional and physical dependence on this substance. So while we're changing our mindset, we are building our fortitude, we are creating our empowerment, we are learning how to heal, we are learning how to deflect the myths and the stigmas. We're in practice mode. You're still in this space of like, well, I feel like that made me feel better. And so how do we alleviate the real true stress that is around us, that has permeated our systems? How do we still manage our sleep, our nerving system? We are getting our emotional state of being into homeostasis, where it properly functions in its natural state. Like our our systems can do a lot of this if it's not, depleted or poisoned. I've created a lot of replacement mocktails, functional drinks, or just utilization of different herbs that are very impactful and effective for sleep, for stress, for anxiety, for nervines, your nervous system, repairing our cognition. Yeah, just homeostasis and getting our bodies, getting them optimized. So that's where I'll stop on qualification number 1. And next I'll be sharing about my life coaching and conscious communicating and coaching, just life lessons. Yeah, and I'll just continue to keep giving you my spiritual awakening path as it has unfolded and continues to unfold on a daily basis. And thanks for joining Journey Out of the Bottle and for watching. And I really, truly hope that this resonates with you or someone you know. And, if there's something that you'd like to ask me or comment about or share, I'm so open to that. This is what I really thrive on, is conscious connecting and co-collaborating and sharing of stories and being an inspiration to one another, to creating connections that are healing, that are inspiring, that are motivating. So thanks for joining. Cheers.